I know typically I have the webcam going, but once again, the webcam is off. For no reason in particular, but either way, we are here once again for another edition of Let's Play WWE 2017. And even though, in the past I've made reference to running this series where Raw and SmackDown happen on in the same video, that's not gonna happen this week because, well, partially because of the recap, and partially because it had been quite a long time since the last time I recorded, and with that being the case, I needed to catch all of you up on what happened, and catch myself up on what happened as well. But maybe next week, or maybe even for Great Balls of Fire, because Great Balls of Fire is actually this weekend. So the Raw branded pay-per-view will happen this weekend with a big world title match between Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe, an ambulance match between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, the Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus, and also made this past Monday night that I forgot to add is Seth Rollins versus The Miz for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be a big pay-per-view, and it's going to set the bar for the month that SmackDown will have to follow later on this month. That's actually the first time that I ignored that notification. Either way, let's just jump right into this week's episode of SmackDown and see what happens on SmackDown Live. As you saw, or you might not have, this is the first time we're hearing from the Drama King, as Aiden English gets a tryout on the pre-show. And to be honest, I think next time you see Aiden English, he'll have a promo on the regular show, sort of similar to Kurt Hawkins, and how WWE runs Kurt Hawkins, or Aiden English. But either way, Aiden somewhat impressed me with his promo skill, so I'm gonna give him time on the actual show next time you see Aiden English. But either way, the Aiden English experiment begins tonight, and let's see where it goes. 36 in-ring performance. He's still far off, but maybe it's a work in progress. Either way, we move forward to the first match on the show, and just like last week, I said that one of the Singh brothers will be stepping into the ring against Randy Orton tonight, and it's Samir Singh, as Randy defeats Samir in the opening match on SmackDown, somewhat handedly, with an RKO, as he sends a message to the WWE Champion, Jinder Mahal, for Battleground. And Randy then grabs a microphone and says, "Jinder, you think that the ball is in your court, but as I just showed, it only takes one slip-up for me to drop you with an RKO, so it doesn't matter what match type you pick. Either way, I will leave Battleground WWE Champion." And now we head to the Fashion Files, as the search continues for Fandango's horse, and to find out who attacked them a few weeks ago, as they question Michael Hayes this week, as if you remember, there was a time when Michael Hayes was a usual suspect on the bulletin board for the Fashion Police. So Breeze and Fandango question the bad street brawler about, well, Fandango's horse and who has been attacking them. But either way, they may have moved a step closer, but the entertainment is still there, at least in my book. So now we move forward with Luke Harper going up against Mike Bennett, and Luke Harper gets the victory over the newbie to the WWE. And I know some people may be saying, oh, why are you just making him lose a random match? Well, the fact of the matter is, I do have a plan for Bennett, and I think it's the best way to use him and the other person that he's partnered with, I should say. And you'll see later in the day, you'll see later what I mean. Oh, we gotta change Maria's gimmick. Very good. Okay. And now we move to the segment with Shane McMahon announcing a fatal 4-way next week with Miss Money in the Bank Carmella, Becky Lynch, Natalya, and Charlotte Flair. Where the winner will go on to Battleground to face Naomi for the WWE Women's title. And I know some may be asking why Carmella. Well, Nikki's out. I didn't want to pick Tamina. There really isn't anybody else. So, that's the reason. You know. Nope, can't turn her yet. I know Charlotte's supposed to be babyface, but I guess whoever made the file didn't think so. So, yeah. Because Charlotte actually turned face soon after coming to SmackDown Live, but I guess this may have been before she did, or what have you. Shinsuke Nakamura against Primo. WWE fans are very critical of the product, and certain fans of specific talent are very critical of how that talent is booked, because they feel like certain talent is only supposed to be booked a certain way. And that is where they would say, okay, why the hell are you booking Shinsuke Nakamura in a certain way? Well, I'll say this. Shinsuke Nakamura, basically I'll say this. It shouldn't matter how I book Shinsuke Nakamura as long as Shinsuke Nakamura is booked strong and is on TV consistently. Because the only way somebody gets over is if they're booked strong and on TV consistently. So, there you go. But either way, Shinsuke obviously defeats Primo and then is attacked by Epico and Primo. And then I know, oh, are you actually going to let Shinsuke feud with the Colognes? No. No. What all this may be is Primo and Epico play the numbers game with Shinsuke, then maybe they do it again, and maybe this leads to a tag team match. It's basically getting all of them on television, but putting over Shinsuke in the end. That's it. Because also, why would I let them feud? Looking at the segment, it was a crap segment. Why would I let them feud? It wouldn't be good. you know, this segment was basically, Baron putting over his actions from last week, saying that John Cena's a thing of the past, and that Cena needs to step back and let the future, the new stars, the next generation, find their way into the top of the card, just like people did for him when he was coming up the ranks. Because even though it may be that they rolled the red carpet out for Cena, Cena hasn't done that for anybody. Or some... See, the reason why this may, I don't want to put off like I'm, disinterested, but it's just, there's ways to keep a feud going. And I just feel like, I know Baron needs to do it to get himself to the point where he can do it, but, cut a good promo, but it just feels like, to me, the last thing Baron Corbin would be is the heel type to say, oh, Cena needs to step down, Cena needs to step back, blah, 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 blah. No, he would say, Cena, if you don't step back, I'm gonna beat it out of you and make you step back. I'm gonna make you realize that I'm the new blood, I'm the fresh face, and you're not up to it anymore. You don't have it anymore. And I'm gonna beat your ass until you realize I'm right. And you give up your spot. Because I'm gonna make you retire if you don't. He'd put over the fact that he's a badass and he doesn't care whose feelings he hurts, who he runs down, who he hates. All he knows is he wants to beat John Cena's ass. And he's not gonna let anybody stand in his way. But now we move forward, and yes, Dolph Ziggler actually gets a win. Why? Because I don't understand why WWE never gives him a win, even against local talent. And I'm not saying that Chad Gable's a local star, I'm just saying you have by far probably the biggest disposal of local talent, of a job guy that you can bring in for one show. I know you want to give Dolph a gimmick, you want to repackage him, you want to do this, that, and the other thing. Fine. But the fact of the matter is, you make him go against people, person X, person Y, you don't make him win. At all. If people don't win, they don't matter. And it's hard to invest in people that don't win, because why are you going to invest in a loser? Unless they're a lovable loser like Zack Ryder. But Dolph really isn't a lovable loser because people wanted him to realize his potential, but WWE doesn't see what everybody else does. Or did. Owens, now Owens makes his way to the ring when we come back, and Owens talks about that he wants his title back. And he says he will leave AJ Styles the same way he left everyone else. That he stepped in the ring with. And Sorry. When Owens wants something, he gets it. And he's gonna leave a layer of bodies in his wake when he gets what he wants. And it starts with AJ Styles, and it starts with the United States title, and it starts in 2 weeks at Battleground. Of course, this means Kevin competed. And this is where it comes in for the local talent. Because Corey Hollis is a local talent to the area. And much like the US Open Challenge, Kevin Owens did the Kevin Owens Open Challenge. And Corey Hollis accepted it and pretty handily gets dispatched. But now we move to the next segment where Kevin Owens is just standing in the ring and goes for the microphone, but AJ Styles makes his way to starts coming out to the ring, and Kevin Owens ducks to the outside and walks through the ring announcer area and the timekeeper area to get out through the crowd and away from AJ Styles because he wants nothing to do with the Phenomenal One. And the two just stare down as we head to commercial break, and at this point we've reached the back half of the show, and we come back in the locker room with Maria and Mike after a hard loss earlier tonight. Dolph Ziggler enters Mike Bennett's locker room and basically offers him some advice, is about to offer him some advice, but before he does, he tells him, "Look, Mike, you're on the cusp of becoming an afterthought, and I want to help you avoid becoming one." Before Dolph can continue, Maria steps up and is insulted by the idea that Dolph called her husband an afterthought, and just tells Dolph Ziggler, "We want nothing to do with you, go away." So Dolph walks out of the room and says, "Whatever. You'll come to me when you realize I'm right." Now we move on, and Charlotte competes. I know that necessarily I may not need to have Charlotte compete. But with the fact that the pay-per-view's 2 weeks away, I'm going to take advantage of it by having Charlotte, Natalya, Carmella, and Becky all compete. Actually, wait, no, the pay-per-view, the Fatal 4-Way's next week. So, actually, I could have put somebody else in the match that, wasn't in the Fatal 4-Way, like maybe a Tamina or something like that. I guess I just put Charlotte because I thought she was going to get the best rating. I don't know. Charlotte cuts a promo hyping her upcoming match against Naomi. Let me explain. Charlotte may be turning babyface, but I'm still having her display some heel tendencies because she's a Flair. And Flairs have confidence. So Charlotte is extremely confident that she's going to be victorious in the Fatal 4-Way next week and will go on to Battleground to fight Naomi for the women's title. Because she's a Flair. Now we head backstage with Sammy and John talking about their history, what happened last week with Baron Corbin and Sammy's history with Baron Corbin. But also they touch on what happened, I want to say 2 years ago in Montreal, when Sammy made his Raw debut in the US Open Challenge match against Cena and got injured. And that this is the first time these two have been meeting and will meet in the ring since then, and that Sammy is exactly the type of person that John wanted to come back to face because he wanted to face Sammy at 100%. And yes, that is the main event tonight, Sammy and John Cena. Unfortunately, looking at the rating, the match didn't get as good as I wanted it to. Not good at all. Not good at all. A 66 final rating. A 66 match rating. Probably because of the announcing. Because as you can see, the match apparently deserved better announcing because I think Byron is the only announcer. I forget if I promoted Tom Phillips yet. And apparently Sammy's just not very good in the ring. Probably because I'm assuming because of his popularity, because everybody in this file had low popularity. I guess I just didn't think to move up Sammy. But I'm actually pretty disappointed by the match. I thought it was at least going to get a 70. So I'm pretty disappointed. But the show doesn't end there because Baron Corbin is not going to let John Cena get the last laugh. And he attacks John Cena from behind. And the important part is that he hits Cena with the end of days right in the middle of the ring, stands over Cena and poses as the show goes to black. So the last sight you see is Corbin standing over Cena as somewhat of a victor to say that maybe in the future you could see the exact same sight. Or like it's a sign of things to come. Yeah. Crappy show. No surprise it was a SmackDown because I don't know why, but usually I don't do very good with SmackDown. But it's, the same thing as last week, almost, the same thing as Raw. I thought I was going to do a lot better, but this seems like a difficult file because everybody's popularity is so off. And yes, I'm attributing it to that because, I'll just say this, Dean Ambrose, a guy who held the WWE title last year, had popularity in the 60s, and AJ Styles had popularity in the 75 range. When you start, I upped both AJ and Ambrose, but that just should tell you that they're probably not the only ones that had very low popularity to start. So it's unfortunate because it's going to negatively affect the product and the company, but I've come back from worse and I've gone through harder. Because if I remember, the first show of Raw wasn't that bad. It's just now that this is about the third show in a row that has been kind of difficult. So hopefully we can turn things around. Hopefully we can turn things around. In the coming weeks, because as I always say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and things can change. My direction can get over once I actually start developing an idea of what I want to accomplish in this Let's Play series, like I always do. And maybe, just maybe, my ratings are a reflection of real-life WWE's ratings, because, at least at this point, I mean, in real life, I'm saying right now, WWE is better, or getting better than it was, but at this point that I'm in now, they weren't really that good, and the ratings were kinda low. So maybe switching up the direction wouldn't be a bad idea, but I can sit here and tell you that I don't know if you noticed, but there is something big planned for the next episode of Raw, so stay tuned for that. And let me know down in the comment section below if you have any suggestions to better this Let's Play series and get on track faster. Let me know your feedback down below, because as always, it is welcomed and appreciated. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave your feedback by liking, subscribing, and ding-donging that notification bell. Because if you want, I'm forgetting my outro. Because I added in the notification bell. That damn bell. Well, like, subscribe, and ding-dong that bell for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. And I'm gonna get that outro under control and memorized for next time. So tune in for that, and also tune in for the next video, because that is going to be Great Balls of Fire. So till then, thank you for joining me, and see you till next time. Later.